City Hall a few days earlier.
The police say it was completely unrelated.
Would you rather go there or the market?
These suspicions of yours wouldn't have anything to do with the upcoming election, would they?
Of course they would. If Lucius Ryan was murdered, we want to know. Need to know.
What makes you think the cops got it wrong? Got any evidence?
Shortly before Ryan passed, he made cuts in the NCPD budget. Perhaps got on someone's bad side that way.
In any case, we have the cyber psycho attack on a BD.
Our chief of security scanned it but didn't find anything out of the ordinary, so to speak. We need a braindance editor, a real one. It's raw footage.
The braindance. It has to be back where it belongs today, or a lot of people will be in a lot of trouble. If you agree to help, you can see it right now.
Where'd you get the scroll?
Ryan was making a public appearance. BD scrolling standard procedure for events like that. Following the attack, the NCPD impounded the footage as evidence.
We had to pull many strings to extract it.
All right. See what I can do.
I think I'm examining.
Excellent. We'd be happy with any find that would clarify things. Alleviate lingering doubts.
You're just saying I'm better at scanning stuff than them? Okay. Thanks, I guess.
Well, what do we got here?
Question is, what are you doing here?
My brain too, isn't it?
And this time, don't go scrolling every ass you see. Eyes on the mayor. Stuff belongs to City Hall. Let's make it PG.
I forgot how to do it. Do I have to pause it? Jesus Christ. Lair. Damn.
Second conference in 3 days. No idea what this blitz is for.
That's why I'm mayor and you're not. Now's when we need the visibility.
You're spreading yourself too thin.
I'll rest tonight. My room at the Red Queen's race is ready.
Yes, of course.
Good. Now go. Gotta practice.
Red Queen's race. Cause any inner synapse zaps?
Sure, bunch of old Brit farts in powdered wigs shouting, "Off with their heads!"
You know, you're allowed to say you don't have a clue. They left literally seconds before the attack. Now it looks planned, like it was done on purpose.
That or the psycho saw his chance and took it. Don't get paranoid on me.
What, man? Look.
No idea what this blitz is for.
Who's the Hulk guy?
No idea. Those ass clowns are all the same.
That's why I'm mayor and you're not. Now's when we need the visibility.
You're spreading yourself too thin.
I'll rest tonight. My room at the Red Queen's race is ready.
Yes, of course.
Good. Now go. Gotta practice.
Hold it. Stop right there. Slow your roll.
River Ward, NCPD.
Police. Let him in.
Let him wait.
It's important. Gotta speak to the mayor's chief of security.
Preem, do it after the conference.
Terminal crashed right as he went through the gate. Yeah, glitch was no accident.
Nah. Seen stranger coincidences.
Like
Like when you bang some chick and then her sister later, same night. And it turns out they're both sisters of God.
that really happened to you.
Nah. But it could've.
Snurflock. Conference.
The cop wanted to tell security something.
Probably that he was standing by to lick Ryan's butthole.
Could have chromed half the city with what he was packing.
Probably what happened. Body disappeared from the morgue, sight unseen. And then some pig got himself a new set of wheels and an ugly-ass suit.
Know that? We're just talking out your ass again.
Once you've seen all I've seen, don't need to know things to know them. People are the same everywhere.
Okay, it's coming at your ass. Whoa.
Gotta speak. To the mayor's chief of security.
Preem, do it after the...
Conference.
Pretty.
Preem, do it after the conference.
The tune. Don't recognize it.
Tune.
What he's humming.
Wouldn't call that a tune.
He's really into it.
Gotta speak to the mayor's chief of security.
Preem, do it after the conference.
Hey, girly. Nice.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I think it will be okay. Yeah, the lady that did my massage, she said that this kid, she got her to drink water from like little bit
Oh, really?
of women. You a little bit of thing.
Yeah. Okay. 'Cause she can drink some juice now, but
But it's not
really, shit.
it's a little like it's got her teeth, right?
Oh yeah.
But just putting a tiny bit in water, it's not giving her like straight up juice.
Yeah, we need some more wipes for her.
I
Oh,
just
okay.
tried to put them on her. She's so difficult when I tried to do it.
Yeah, you just gotta. We just gotta keep doing it. She'll get it.
Oh, really? Are we grabbing for it? Whew, that walk killed my legs a little bit. I could be struggling at bare legs. So out of shape right now. I only went 2 laps around the block. I used to be able to just do 4, like no.
Yeah. Something, maybe next time we can do 3.
Yeah, but after the first lap, I was tired, but I like pushed myself to do the second.
Yeah.
Chip chip cheerio.
scratches, wear and tear, and general damage. If you own one of those old Lego stores, see where this is going. After a few years of trade, companies started to shift back to more durable and cheap materials. Everyone except Apple either fucking don't make them well. Regardless, Roleplaying was somewhat short, but one of the few interesting projects at the time. Making everything see-through was another that was 2000's futurism wasn't always impressive in color. Many decisions getting branched out took on a softer, more abstract approach. There's a couple that fall under the Jimmy name, with the most notable being Jimmy software. While often overshadowed by things like Rudiger Arrow, Y2K futurism, I think it still looks really clean. Doesn't surprise me if you haven't seen it before. It usually depicts naturalistic, distorted urban environments, train stations, skylines, cool blues and greens are the most common colors, highlighting the future looks clean yet fresh and organic. Nostalgia was embraced and blended with futuristic optics. The result is an aesthetic that demands time to look at and kind of hope. While you could see it in everything from concept art to architecture and advertising, the best example is hospitality. Blur, the Madding crowd, midnight driving, music for airport, simulate elements just as deep. The aesthetic was only categorized recently as the name is lent itself to the planet. At the time, the target was young adult, the chicken, and it romanticized love and partly with its soft name. But it's more mature and repetitive of the appropriate, still interesting enough. The growing technology industry in the late 90s is generally credited to the reason this style existed. Even more interesting is the fact that a lot of people are still using it today. CFCF's Memory Lane album cover captures the style mixing, and there's been a review hinting at this time. Now, this is more from there's another aesthetic gen comic artist Steve this definitely works with little corporate cyber utilizes similar amounts of tools to although they're much more fully. The only consistency across these ads is that another key corporate cyber was more artistic, whereas soft club land was the black decade notice that the former is more abstract, CGI is heavy with very aggressive. There's a lot more colors. Like, I want to finish. Fuck you. I want to finish this section with at the end. We apologize for cancelling. But we've covered some key aesthetics from here, even some from the late 90s. It wasn't just because I think they're cool though. It wasn't. As you'll find elements from all of them in quite this is the real meat and potatoes of the first half of the decade of this video. This comes to unpack some unexpected, bizarre acts of video games, so we might as well do this. Y2K is the term derived from the software problem in 2000. The aesthetic covers one of the largest and most comprehensive expressions of 2000. If you spend a lot of time on TikTok or Instagram Reels, you might have heard it referred to as cyberpunk. It can be traced back as far as the late 80s, sharing visuals with brave players of the game. However, things really started to take off the rise of websites and advertising began to lean into vision. The year 2000 was right around the corner, and it was an easy way to grab a piece of the pie. In terms of games, usually tried to compete with this generation. The original Xbox, PlayStation, GameCube, and Game Boy. I recently saw an ad for PS, which is nice to demonstrate both optimism at the time and aesthetic. The year is 2078 and shows the top advertisement on PlayStation 5. You crack it open, it releases scores attached directly to several shots of the same vibe, which makes a lot of sense. They were pretty much created at the same time. The ad closes with the PS2 logo and two begin. Angle here is pretty clear. Like a lot of things where you're being sold, even just the taste, it's a bit of marketing you want to feel the same as just like the PlayStation, Xbox felt like it belonged in the future. And for just $2.99, so would you. And yet, plugging in a game out of your hands, the flagship title is from the futuristic sci-fi show. Dreamcast had games like Space Channel 5, and many others shared these kinds of aesthetics. Topic of futuristic console, I have to contrast really crazy touched on this briefly before, but there's a new reason that I'm talking about it today. The clear trace was a distinct component of Y2K futurism. It was a fad all through the early years. It was tech-related and it wasn't already prone. It was clear. TVs, controllers, consoles, and most basically IMAX Big 3 are all colorful. Even though there was really actually still a seriously cool look. Many consoles with it skyrocketed price. Couldn't just find this in the 2000s. The 80s adopted phones like this, and the 90s followed suit. Outside the shelves of TV games, prisons had clear technology that was entirely different, but far more object-free. Regardless, a few months ago I mentioned how badly I wanted to control it like this, specifically for Xbox. And to my surprise, they actually restarted it. And I think they do look pretty good. All that's left now is translucent security. Before we go any further, it's important to quickly mention that an aesthetic from the same genre, time frame white. It used 3D metallic shapes to create jagged patterns visually. I recognize it from Armored early websites of more mechanical, darker, and edgier than any other video, especially the ones that were taking its name from a book called Metal Art. It leads for a few years, but society up to this day it remains one of the most obscure yet fascinating offshoots of white people. This period also saw some unique approaches to marketing, and I want to draw your attention to one advertising in the late 90s and early 2000s. A company called Fragile Design used several pictures that resonate with almost every style we'll be covering today. I actually posted a few of these online. Looking at their work, you can see elements of jazz, of futurism, and metal art. Yes, they are out there, but I think they work. Seriously, the three other Australians watching this video can't tell me that BM would taste better in this cup. As a whole, technology was represented very differently today. The internet was still borderline magic to a lot of people, which is unsurprising considering the way it was portrayed. On TV, it was visualized as anything from pink to white. It looked at multi-layered 3D space. There was a sense that it existed within one realm that was separate to our own. Computers and phones represented more than this dynamic was sort of reflected in reality, though not nearly as much. How's it used to have death like this? That was where you live. It was very much separate from the day-to-day, not something that followed you around. This week must be tough. Today, however, no longer the case. Whether it's your watch, phone, MacBook, or PC, chances are you're constantly far from some exciting escape into a different world because it is the world. Ultimately, tech just doesn't understand aura as it did during the 2000s. The marketing around it is futuristic. Naturally, this isn't the only reason why it became futuristic ballet and was eventually replaced by something else. But before we reach those points horizons, we have one last topic. Shoes, glasses, and this watch is all I'm wearing right now. Fashion in 2000 wasn't always futuristic, but there was. This was evident in the covers of magazines, music videos, and in movies. So let's find out why it looked like that in American paint. Remember when every artist filmed their videos inside of a cheap scraper or some industrial washing machine? Yes, you'll also remember when they dressed like this. There was a 5-year long Chinese dance competition with no winners. So some did get pretty close to the title. Mark Nelson appeared their winner up there, but had a disturbing lack. But Buster Rhymes undoubtedly showed that the music video honestly ambiguous from glasses and 1 minute 55 seconds of I'll get over by September. This one really leans into the futuristic pattern. Flying cars, loud city, and touching guns before as the main outfit. It looks like what 2006 or 2012 looked like, and it's shiny. Plus run back. This time we're inside multiple movies. It looks like Robocop because the circuit here. There's a marching band.
God here. That feels like a nice segue into this next part, so we'll keep things ticking.
You might not give a lot of thought to experimental looking watches, and maybe you don't even think about watches at all, but it's definitely worth paying attention to what was going on in the 2000s. We got some of the strangest looking pieces of all time as companies vied to make futuristic timekeepers. A good rule of thumb is that if it looks like it came out of Spy Kids, it was probably from this time. Personally, I don't mind the Nike Triax. It even came in a silver armored version, which is now selling for ridiculously high prices. Naturally, Oakley was right behind them with the Blade and the Judge. As weird as they might look now, I can appreciate their attempts to put an artistic spin on something as ubiquitous and simple as the watch. In fact, this kind of experimentation today could do a lot for the industry in terms of bringing in new enthusiasts. I mean, there's already a huge second-hand market for these older pieces. Going beyond accessories, the emergence of this new futuristic look was chronicled in magazines like Kerouac. Based in Japan, an early issue titled What's Cyber looked at the outfits of an emerging street culture scene. Common elements were short, spiky hair, metallic materials, chunky platform boots, and of course, shiny pants. All in all, the message was pretty clear, regardless of where you were in the world. This was how people dressed in the future.
I don't know.
Fruitier era is still massive, and I've been fruity into this for the past week. If you run out of material, you're in luck, because we're about to take the biggest deep dive into the aesthetic so far. We're going to find out what it really was, why so many people call it the future we were promised, and where exactly you might remember it from. I see a lot of reels showing these amazing futuristic interiors, and I've always wondered how many of those were ever real places. Later on, we'll check those out as well, because I found some genuine locations that were easily more bizarre than any concept art. Anyway, the 2000s futurism we've covered so far was very much influenced by the 90s. All of the chrome blue utopias that Pepper Corporate designed was sparked by what the fuck was that? Was sparked by the hype for the year 2000. Those four numbers alone represented massive innovation and change, and the world did get both of those things, it just didn't anticipate how. As the new millennium ticked over, people's attitudes started to shift. As put by Mike Grindle, it's likely that Y2K aesthetics disappeared because the cultural zeitgeist that made them no longer existed. Things like 9/11, the war on terror, and the bursting of the dot-com bubble made it increasingly difficult for such an idealized future to resonate with people. Furthermore, as handheld devices and computers exploded in popularity, the world grew more familiar with them, and if you didn't, 90s style UIs was starting to look outdated. By roughly 2004, the stage was set for a revitalized approach to interfaces, and inadvertently, futurism. Corporations knew they needed to sell us something fresh, tangible, and optimistic. Reducing the gap between technology and nature seemed to be a logical place to start, where Y2K futurism portrayed tech as if it were part of some distant space-age future. This new style meshed with existing concepts and environments. This contributed to the narrative of eco-futurism, which you're likely familiar with if you grew up in the late 2000s. But we'll unpack that more soon. Back to basics, the first signs of change were the introduction of skeuomorphic designs in Mac OS X 10 and the original Windows long haul, around 2001 to 2004. Their icons aimed to be more intuitive to users of every age and skill level, incorporating 3D elements that were glossy and rounded. This philosophy and the associated design language have been retroactively named Frutiger Era. Frutiger coming from Adrian Frutiger, the creator of this font, and Era coming from Microsoft's design theme for Windows Vista. Today, its absence is most notable in menus. For a couple of years, it was a very popular style for everything from consoles to phones that have blue or green swirls of color in the background, sometimes with rays of light poking through as if underwater. When coupled with bubble or water drop-like icons, the naturalistic themes were hardly subtle. This was especially prolific around the early years of the 2010s, being largely replaced by flat design. This didn't stop us getting some cool interfaces though, and I especially like the original Xbox 360s and the menu for this random smart TV. Honestly, it's strange looking back at this era because at the time it didn't feel out of place at all. It's only when comparing modern designs to it that you notice how much things have changed. Samsung and Apple haven't used glossy, skeuomorphic designs for like 10 years. They aren't hard to navigate now or anything, and there still are some nice gradients and colors, but this cool design philosophy seems to be a thing of the past. So, how did this short-lived approach to UI evolve into Gen Z's promised future? Well, this look wasn't exclusive to interfaces. The switch to HD and the rise of advanced modeling software made it easier to render realistic 3D objects. This is a key difference between Y2K futurism and Frutiger era. The former was usually produced with lower resolution and more primitive lighting and effects. Regardless, everything from advertising to video games started to embrace this new aesthetic. It was especially popular in corporate stock images, and so many of the most iconic pictures came from a single website. Acidal Design is a Korean company specializing in, well, stock images. It's where this image originally came from, now one of the most definitive representations of the style. Water, glass, and giant globes were consistent visuals, the globes representing the world or the World Wide Web. Those with buildings in the background spoke to a sustainable, optimistic vision of eco-futurism. Some have since labelled this Frutiger Eco, a subdivision centred around environmentalism and a harmonic balance between architecture and nature. You did see this a lot on TV, a good example being this ad for the DS Lite. It has the same cityscape on the horizon, bright green fields and people levitating. Moving on, if you've ever owned one of these lamps or saw this meme recently, you'll recognize another micro-category called Helvetica Aqua. This focused more on water, the ocean, and tropical fish, and was a popular motif in interior and product design. It was less futuristic, but utilized to sell new tech regardless, as you can see in the ad on screen. In terms of architecture, Helvetica Aqua can still be found in today's interiors. Have a look at this waiting lounge from Taiwan's International Airport, or even the inside of this children's hospital. Dark Arrow, on the other hand, is a little more obscure. To a guy like me, Dark Arrow is just normal Arrow, but that's just a glimpse into my twisted mind. Popular from around 2006 to 2015, it offered a sleeker, more professional alternative to Frutiger while maintaining the same glossy 3D elements and gradients. Great examples are these BlackBerry ads, some promotional material for Windows, backgrounds, and car campaigns. Zooming out again, you started to see more forms of media promoting this eco-futurism. Meet the Robinsons is one of the best examples that I've referenced on this channel. The futuristic city of Todayland shows a world where nature hasn't been neglected as technology advanced. There's bubbles, water, grass, and a skyline that looks straight out of a 2009 stock image. This helps shape the narrative that a lot of Gen Z grew up with, that the future would be colourful, high-tech, and green. On apps like TikTok and Instagram, you'll see this perpetuated through shorts that cut between wavy green and blue interiors. There's a general sentiment that this future has been abandoned, with people missing its hopeful tone. But how much of these places were ever real? Was it all concept art, or have we truly left this look behind? Well, you'd be surprised at how many places used to look like this. Offices and stores in particular made good use of the more playful colours to create corporate environments that were at least somewhat inspiring. All of the images on screen right now were real places from the mid-2000s. Interestingly, I even found some appearances as far back as 2001. The launch of the Sony Ericsson was accompanied by a pavilion that looked straight out of 2050. While sharing many elements with Y2K futurism, the glossy logo at the front, chairs, and couches were distinctly Frutiger era, and it wasn't even called that until like 2017. O2's flagship store in 2007 embraced the naturalistic side of things even more. With flowers, bubbles, and cool blues, it ticks the boxes and feels refreshing. You could also find it in post offices, hospitals, and homes. If you like the look of these designs, you can check out either of the Mirror's Edge games to edge to them even more. As we've established, you can break 2000s futurism up into two distinct eras, Y2K and Frutiger era. Both envisioned different outcomes, and both looked pretty cool while doing so. But you still might be wondering what the big deal is, and that's fair enough. At face value, they were both byproducts of corporate focus groups, and they weren't just made to look good, there was strategy and purpose behind their implementation. Consequently, some people don't see them as anything more than weird periods of design. Not everyone, though. Growing up, the eco-futurism of the 2000s and early 2010s really did make sense. Yes, it was idealized and artificial, but it felt fun. I can understand why it's become so popular recently. In a world where corporate aesthetics have been refined, flattened, and simplified beyond recognition, it offers a return to a more optimistic and colourful period. This is largely why you'll see people romanticize it as the future they were promised. It was everywhere in advertising, movies, and games, and then suddenly it just disappeared. Only this time, its replacement was
Can't believe 2023 was 2 years ago. We're almost married for 2 years. Crazy, in April, the end of April, we have 3 hard inquiries coming out. So almost everything is gonna be like either B or A. Credit score chart here. Very this one here is 768. Discover the news score 9. I think that was 766 or 767. But within a few months, hopefully that'll be like 780 or something. So maybe not to be compared to me. We're making a lot of very responsive. Maybe we can increase the. Well, if we paid off the main president, maybe we can increase it. Maybe we can do something. And get the car payment down so much more reasonable. Maybe if we can continue paying the same amount of money we just paid off last year, get it right side, then when we're at that point, then we'll look at get a lower payment. We can just pay the normal payment with the extra money we use it. Very excited. Yeah, within like maybe 2 years we could move the whole thing.
I hope so.
But
I don't know what stage you're in 2 years though.
I don't know. I mean, we would obviously be able to like branch out and like be able to find other finances from that, but we don't have to make sure that what we have sure I'm in good health. Yeah. And keep doing this, do it a lot, and learn how to be a manager at the same time. Transition to a manager. And eventually somehow that maybe can become junior, but we'll see. Not Yeah, I've gotten pretty used to the waking up like most days, before I went to school and stuff. It's kind of cool. Yeah, that's alright. So hopefully I can keep like well, let's see, at a manager position. Well, and Violet is gonna, well, we'll see. It should still be fine.
It'll be okay. I know.
So I'm just thinking about like how in the future when she is going to school, it'll have to be earlier, right? Well, I guess just adapt, you know. Something like that. But I've started to go to bed earlier, as
But
you
that's
see.
in like 5 years.
Yeah, but I have to mentally prepare for that. You know, it's like a big commitment. So I'm taking these years to think about, wow, I really have to do this now. Crazy. I'm ready. A bumblebee. It's a good sign.
What are you doing?
Taking a seat.
Oh my god.
Just right here.
Finger up my chair. Wait.
Listen.